All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the 12 shots. You got your Allah giving the course, all honor, glory, and praise unto the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Mamalak, Yahweh Shah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh. In the name of only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, this brother Yasha Allah.
That's all right.
Khan, come back to y'all yet another video through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Mamalak, Yahweh Shah. All right, all praises. So, yeah, Shabbat Shalom to all that's deserving it. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown through the spirit, another day of resting, another day of congregating like-minded individuals that are in this truth. All right, all praises to the Most High. So we're going to get straight into this through the spirit, essentially going into, as we went into last week, Isaiah the 19th chapter. So we're just going to keep going into Isaiah 19 because, like I said, there's a lot of prophecy. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now too. And I do also want to bring up something that is happening right now that Isaiah 19 even touches on, right? That's happening right now before our eyes in the nation called Babylon the Great, as we went to. So if you haven't checked out Isaiah 19 or our previous live, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and check that out because we went into Isaiah the 19th chapter. We tried to touch on as much as we could, but we wanted to take it slow. So we went into verses 1, verses 2, verses 3, essentially. Only got to the third verse. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from verse 4. I'm going to keep going down, see how far we can get with the time that we have. So all praise to the Most High. So, but essentially, I do want to kick it off with this, right? I do want to kick it off with this because, again, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world and even in America. So America alone. So let's I'm gonna pull up some videos. But let's just go to Isaiah the 19th chapter first. Because I want to reread this verse as we read it before. But I want to read it again though. All right, so it's Salakia. Hold on. All right, here we go. Here we go right here. All right, so I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Right. So let's go to Isaiah 19 and let's just read verse 2 again because there's something I want to kind of touch on first.
This is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
All right, so it says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. So again, the previous live, we went into this already. So we're not going to break this down. But I just want to touch on how a prophecy, it's like this prophecy, we're seeing it before our eyes, right? We see it stirring up in America. The spirit of civil war and the spirit of sedition among men, right? So I want to pull this up real quick. So Laki, hold on. Let me go to Safari so I can pull up the videos. So if anyone has been kind of keeping up with Texas and the border, all right, keeping up with Texas, border control, and Biden's essentially you have 24 hours to remove the. So hold on. So I'm gonna just play the video real quick. Play the video, all right, so y'all can see like what's going on in the spirit, right?
Just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
there are signs the Biden administration may be backing down from a standoff between the state of Texas and the feds at the southern border.
Texas officials say they will not comply with a deadline tonight to allow Border Patrol access to Shelby Park in Eagle Pass. And Border Patrol agents say for now there are no plans to remove razor wire, even though a court ruling allows agents to do so. Meanwhile, more Republican states say they will send National Guard resources to the border. Fox 4's Blake Hansen live with more. Blake.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, a senior Border Patrol official said that there's no plans for now to take down any of that razor wire unless there is some sort of emergency they need to get to. It is as more red states vow to support the position that Texas is taking. Along the border in Eagle Pass, it appears Texas is in charge, and some want it to stay that way.
Mr. President, you say you want to secure the border.
Texas has secured it. Leave it alone. We don't need you down here.
A Friday deadline that the federal government set for the state to let federal.
Hey, so that's America, though, right? America, you just say whatever you want to say about the president. You know, just hey, we just do it by ourselves. We don't need you down here, president, so-called president. The real president is actually Trump. You know, hey, you could no, like that's what they say. Look, you can say whatever you want to say against you know, the president. Man. In the ancient world, it wasn't the same way. You couldn't just say anything you want to say to the king, you know. But that's how you see, that's how you know that, you know, it's just one of these things that makes America weak compared to the ancient nations, the ancient empires, right? But nevertheless, let's keep going.
Access a park in Eagle Pass will apparently pass with no changes. The state took control of the high crossing area earlier this month, even though the feds said they needed it to do their job. A court ruling Monday also paved the way for the feds to take down razor wire, but Texas has since added more. It prompted some calls for the federal government to take over the Texas Guard.
And I would remind everyone that the circumstances under which the federal government can mobilize a state's National Guard are outlined in the law, right? So that I'll leave that there, but I'm just not going to get into speculations on any actions the president's going to take at this time.
Governor Greg Abbott said in an interview Friday that Texas is prepared for any conflict between state and federal authorities.
All we can do is be as prepared as possible, deploy as many people as possible, do as much as possible to put up more border barriers and deny illegal entry. And our head is down. We're working hard, regardless of what the Biden administration is doing.
The tensions led the Border Patrol Union to issue a statement Friday, saying in part, rank and file Border Patrol agents are not going to start arresting Texas National Guard members for following their lawful orders. That's fake news. Meanwhile, more Republicans appear to be souring on a congressional border security deal. Speaker Mike Johnson told colleagues Friday leaked details about the plan lead him to believe the plan would be dead on arrival in the House. It comes after former President Donald Trump said a border deal now would be a gift to Democrats. Immigration is a top issue for voters, but some Republicans still want to see action sooner.
I think they should try to get something done. That's my personal opinion. But regardless of whether they do or not, there's actions that the president can take right now to help the governor instead of working against him.
Other states sending their National Guard to help at the border is nothing new, but more Republican governors this week are vowing to send additional support and resources to help with Texas's position. Stephen Heather.
Yeah, so as we see, and there's other videos on this too, but essentially what's going on is Biden, you know, as the, you know, part of the federal government, he's ordering Texas to remove that kind of makeshift border that they're making down by Shelby Park. I think that's what they said, Shelby Park, which is essentially little it's a park in a certain it's a park in Eagle Pass, right? Eagle Pass is a city in Texas, right? But right next to the border, right next to Mexico. So essentially Biden is ordering Texas to remove that border, let those immigrants in. But Texas is like, nah, we're not doing that, man. So the governor of Texas actually said that, look, we're being invaded. He quoted the Constitution and said, look, according to the Constitution, if the state is invaded, all y'all got to help. Like, you can't just, if Texas gets invaded, for example, by the enemy, let's say a so-called enemy, right, invades Texas. Well, that means that all the other states got to help too. Can't just be like, New Mexico's just like, nah, that's y'all, right? Good luck with that. No, according to the Constitution, all the states got to help. Federal government kind of come in and you know, help Texas with that invasion. And so the governor is using that the Constitution to his advantage and saying that, look, we're being invaded by illegals, you know, illegal immigrants. So we're going to do everything in our power to stop this. And so, in fact, with this going on, it's not just Texas that's trying to secure this border. There's actually 25 states that stand with Texas on this matter, right? 25 states. And I think I got a map. I just want to pull it up real quick, too. right? We got 25 states that's, you know, saying that, look, yeah, Texas is in their rightful law. They're in their rightful what is it, legal right to secure that border and to not let these illegal so-called immigrants in, right? Which is we know to be our brothers of the Northern Kingdom, but we know how they feel about them coming in, right? And we know how Biden feels about them coming in. He just wants them in so that they can what, vote for him, right? So that he can come back into office again. So I got it pulled up right here through the spirit. If you had a point, can you just let me know? Right? But it says 25 states with Republican governors sign letter supporting Texas in border control fight. What to know? So 25 states is going to show the map here too. 25 states. So you got Nevada, Utah, all the way up to North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Nebraska, not Kansas though, right? But you got all the way to what? Ohio, Iowa, Georgia, Florida, even Alaska. Alaska's all the way up there, man. But they say, look, we side with Texas in this matter concerning the border, right? Louisiana. So all these states right here, 25 states. So what does that mean? That means you have one side saying, yeah, control that border, do by any means. And then you got the other side saying, no, you should listen to Biden. Hey, tear that thing down, let him in, right? This and the third, listen to Biden. So you got one half saying, no, do what you want, Texas, right? Secure that border if need be. And there was also another video saying, look, Texas said, look, we're going to use force if we have to. If y'all are coming in and try to tear down that border, and guess what? The state will use force against the Americans fighting against Americans. That's the point. You got Americans fighting against Americans. And as we went through the last video, we already read this precept, but it says that what? The Egyptians will be set against the Egyptians. Americans against Americans on different matters. And what does that cause? It causes division. And what does that division cause? It causes civil war, right? Civil unrest, right? It causes, that's called, according to the Bible, sedition, literally, right? You had a point, King?
Lie, King, lie.
Okay, come, right? So let's just go to the classic in Second Ezra real quick, chapter 15, right? Second Ezra chapter 15, because the Most High talks about this, right? Yes, Second Ezra 15, we just started verse 14.
This Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
You see that? So it says, what? There shall be sedition among men. Let's look up that word sedition real quick. Sedition means conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. See that? Agitation, riot, rebellion. So that's a low-key form of rebellion right there. You know, because the federal government is the highest level of government. If the president issues an order out, federal law, you have to obey that. Any state has to obey federal law. Every state has its own, little set of laws, right? In Texas, the gun laws are different in Texas as compared to California. The driving laws, for example, is different in California than it is in Texas or any other state. Like, for example, California, you can lane split. So anybody being on the freeway in Cali, you might see motorcycles splitting the lanes. That's perfectly fine, Cops can't do anything about that because that's legal in the state of California. Try to do that in Texas, you're going to get pulled over, right? Because that's illegal over there. So, you got different laws in different states. We all know that. But federal law, all the states, all 50 states got to obey that. So Biden, by him putting out a federal order to, stay away from the border and, tear that little makeshift border down with the wires, and then Texas saying, no, we're not going to do that. That's a low key form of sedition right there. And then now you have all the other states saying, yeah, no, we side with Texas. What are you going to do about it, Biden? What are you going to do? Because you're not going to help us, right, with securing this border. So that's a low key little form of sedition right there. Rebellion against the authority, right, which is Biden. So and his administration. So there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And we see this. We saw this in France. We saw this in other countries. And brothers were saying, this was years back. Brothers are saying, yeah, this is going to come to America when there's sedition and people not regarding their the kings or the princes, the authorities, the governors, the presidents, etc. Right? So that's what we see right going on right now. All right. But nevertheless, we can keep going in that though.
Continue on. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and man shall be afraid.
God, yep, that's right. That's right. But yeah, that's it on that. Let's keep going in Isaiah 19 though. But yeah, so that's what's going on right now, man. That's what's going on. I'm waiting to see. I'm kind of excited. Like, all right, so what are they going to do? What is Biden going to do for real? Because now it's in Biden's court though. The ball is in Biden's hands right now. It's up to you, man. Right, the ball is in your court, man. What are you going to do? What's your next move? All right. But nevertheless, let's go to verse 4 though, right? And on top of all the other stuff that's going on, but Salak, you got it.
This is Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king that shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts.
That's right. So the Lord said, the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. Now, firsthand, we already know that's Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. But who's really going to reign upon earth is going to be what? Yahushua. All right? Yahushua. So let's go to that. Let's go to Job chapter 18 and verse 14. All right? We're going to break it down to all different folds, most I willing. All right?
This is Job chapter 18 and verse 14. It reads, his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors.
So who is the king of terrors? It's talking about Yahushua. Talking about the Most High. That's the king of terrors right there. It does say in the Bible that the Most High is terrible, very terrible. What does that mean? Terrible. It means that he's coming with terror, that you should fear him. When you read Job, he talks about Leviathan. And so he talks about how scary, and if you just look upon Leviathan, you'll be killed, right? How very scary this beast is. And then the Most High goes to say, yeah, who created Leviathan? Yeah, that was me. So if you're scared of my creation, how much more should you be scared of me, right? Who created that thing? Who created Leviathan? So we know that the Most High God, Yahushua, right? The Most High God, Yahweh, and of course, Yahushua as well would fit that title of King of Terrors, right? Yeah, Precept King.
Come on.
All right, Khan. So another fold, because we know that these prophecies can also be double fold as well. So there's there are prophecies called dual prophecies. So meaning that it could be fulfilled in one part in one time, and it can also be fulfilled another time. So we see that with Isaiah the 7th chapter, right? For example, I'll just bring it out real quick. Isaiah 7 and let's see here, 14. I'll just read this real quick. It says, "Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good." We know that according to the narrative of Matthew, the first chapter, that prophecy was also fulfilled with Yahweh Shah. But this prophecy is literally, in its proper context, going into Isaiah's son, which Christians don't even know that. They think it's just talking about Yahweh Shah. No, it's talking about actually Isaiah's son, because Isaiah had children. So, yeah. And I was remember talking to that Christian in Hollywood. He didn't even know that. So, but nevertheless, he said, no, no. I'm like, look, you don't even know that Isaiah had a son. So, but yeah, but this is an example of a dual prophecy, right? So it's talking about his son, but it's also in, foreshadowing Yahweh Shah. All right. So Isaiah 19, certain parts of Isaiah 19 actually did happen in ancient Egypt. Not all of it, but it did actually happen in ancient Egypt, in certain precepts. Oh, damn. Hold on. Certain precepts in the verse. Oh, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Khan, all praise. And we got W5 Little Rock in this thing, man. All praises. Hey, Khan. That's right. Yeah. That's the talk of the day, about the Civil War. The Khan, Shabbat Shalom, Uzziah Khan, all praises. Right. But nevertheless, let's get back into this. Salakia, the screen share went off. So let's go to Isaiah real quick. Let's kind of show that Isaiah chapter 20, and verse number 4. Right?
Is Isaiah chapter 20, verse 4. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners, and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt.
Yeah, so this is when Isaiah had to walk around 3 years butt naked. All right. And hey, certain people may be like, what? That's crazy. I know it is a little, strange. But we have to understand that the Most High told Isaiah to do this. And, couldn't just say, hey, Lord, I can't do that. Right? So, you can't just say that. Because the reason why he did this was to, essentially be that living foreshadowing, or be that living example of what should happen to this nation of Egypt. Right? It says, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the captives. So like the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives. So that king of terrors could also be talking about, right? Essentially a king that would reign over the Egyptians, that would take them over, right? And so, when you look at that, when you look at it like that as well, you see what these other kings of the world got: the kings of the East, for example, Russia, China, for example. And these are cruel lords that will reign over Egypt on another fold, right? That will reign over Babylon, that will reign over America, right? That will get the upper hand over America, right? So just like how ancient Egypt, right? Ancient Egypt, and Egypt of antiquity fell into many different kings, right? They fell to a lot of different individuals. One of them being the king of Assyria, right? Want to show another one too, unless you had a preset, King.
Khan. I got a preset. This is sorry, right? This Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 3. It says, "And an unwise king destroyed his people." And that's the point. Unwise, we see the things that's going on in this around the world, man. They literally an unwise man is literally destroying his people, man, little by little. Every second of the every turn we look, they destroying everything. right? At first you with it, and now you against it, being double-minded, right? Being double-minded, right? It says an unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited, right? It says, verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Like the brother's going to, and it's gonna be on the fold of a Yahweh Shai. He's the one that's gonna be the ultimate power, the ultimate profitable king that the Lord gonna set and give the in like a better terms the keys of the city to, or like the brother's going to right now. These other kings of the east is gonna eventually come into power on a different level, right? But Khan, you got a king.
Khan, that's right, that's right. And when we talk about transferring of power, and things of that nature, Sirach chapter 10 is a very good chapter, to bring out on that. Khan. You can really go through that whole thing,
Yeah, Khan.
and Khan Sirach is going to go into, a lot of different aspects of the transferring of power to a different kingdom, you know. But yeah, Khan, that's a good precept. So I just want to get this other precept too inside Salaki Ezekiel chapter 29 and verse number we start verse 18.
This is Ezekiel chapter 29, verse 18, and it reads, Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, caused his army to serve a great service against Tyrus. Every head was made bald, and every shoulder was peeled, yet had he no wages, nor his army for Tyrus, for the service that he had served against it.
Right.
Continue on, verse 19. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will give the land of Egypt unto Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall take her multitude, and take her spoil, and take her prey, and it shall be the wages for his army.
See that? So it says, I'll give the land of Egypt unto Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. You see that? So that's another fold too, right? That's another fold too. When the Most High says, yeah, I'm going to give Egypt into the hands of a cruel Lord, that Lord could be talking about Yahweh Shah, right? We know in the kingdom of heaven, these Egyptians, which we know to be, the modern day Americans, right? And Esau and Edom would have to serve that cruel Lord Yahweh Shah, as he says in Revelation chapter 2. He says, even as I received of my father, going into that rod of honor, right? That power and authority over the nations shall rule them with a rod of iron. Yahweh Shah said, I got that too. So I'm gonna be right there with y'all on these nations. So on one fold is definitely talking about that. On another fold is talking about on more so on a surface level, these nations, right? Like the Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the king of Assyria, and these kings are back on the earth, right? These type of kings are back on earth. Like you got the kings of the east, as I said, Revelation chapter 16. The modern day kings of the east would be what? China, Russia, Iran, India. These kings are going to take down America, right? You got the dragons of Arabia in Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. So you have a lot of different kings back on the earth that the Most High will give. Essentially, the Most High is going to give these kings, or it's like Egypt, right? He's going to give them Egypt, right? Most High is going to be like, yeah, go ahead, take them down, right? Take Babylon down, take America down, right?
I got a precept, King.
God, yeah, you got it.
This is like the brother was going to, like, like it's plethora, everything is, could be double fold, triple fold court. Like the brother saying, he going to the multiple instance where these certain kings, these top kings was taken down the land of Egypt, right? And this is another point, another account, right? This is First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 16. It says, now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion over 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy. and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Right? And that's what's gonna happen, man. On a spiritual fold, like the brother's going to it spiritually, they're gonna lay down, man. They're gonna lay down when they see the terrors that's gonna come. Like we was going to when the real king of terrors come, when the real the real murderer come, man, the real killer, man. He gonna come and he's gonna set things in order. He gonna tell you, hey, get down and lay down, and you're gonna have to either eat and get down, man, because he's not gonna be playing, right? And that's how it's gonna be. Gonna fled. People gonna be fleeing from from this trouble. But all in all, and like was it let me get it real quick. So like you, Jeremiah 16:16, right? Let me get it real quick, right? Let me get Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse I want the end of 16. It says, behold, I will send many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain. That's the point, from every mountain and from every hill and out of holes of the rocks. For my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine. And that's how it's going to be. Hey, they're going to be trying to hide, trying to go into the rocks, the clefts, these $1 million bunkers. What's the name? Building Rick Ross is trying to build. What's his name? What's the Facebook dude name? I forget his name. Mark Zuckerberg. He building. Hey, a lot of these people are trying to build these bunkers, but hey, you can't hide from the Lord, man. He sees everything you got going on. He knows you building the bunker right now, man. What makes you think he don't know you building the bunker? And where is that? And how you gonna do it? Come on, now. It's the Lord. And so, but the point, let me go back to the point. This is at First Maccabees at 1:17. It says, wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude and chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy. Right? And that's how the Lord gonna be coming, right? With the chariots, the mighty men of the Lord, the angels, all these men, right? And made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt, but Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt and took the spoils thereof, just like Nebuchadnezzar did. They took all the spoils and did whatever you want to do, right? With anything, right? But you got a king. And that's how he's gonna move with the move when he come back to the spirit.
No, yeah, that's right though. That's right. Yep. So yeah, so that's just a foreshadowing, as the brother said, what's going to happen when Yahweh Shah for real come up, right? Because you got cruel lords, and then you got the one cruel lord, which is Yahweh Shah, right? So, but nevertheless, yeah, that's right. So let's go back to that in Isaiah 19, right, and verse number 5, right? So now we're kind of switching the context. So yeah, let's go.
This is Isaiah 19, verse 5. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be empty and dried up. The reeds and the flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more.
So what these 3 verses are really talking about, it says that they shall turn the rivers far away. So I really want to go and look at it in the other translation, because in these verses, for some reason, the KJV is going to use the King's English. So it's a little hard to understand. So when you look at it in the NIV in verse 5, it says the water of the river shall dry up, and the riverbed will be parched and dry. So NLT and the other Bibles go to say that this river right here, right, is going into the Nile. Because later in the verse, or later in the chapter, it mentions certain cities that were near the Nile in Egypt. right? Because a lot of the cities that were prosperous in Egypt were next to the Nile. So, the Nile is a mentioned a lot of times in the Bible as the great river, the river of Egypt. But nevertheless, it says the waters of the river will dry up, and the riverbed will be parched and dry, right? So in verse 6, it says, from the NIV, it says the canals will sink, which like it will stink. The streams of Egypt will dwindle and dry up. The reeds and the rushes will wither, right? It says also the plants along the Nile at the mouth of the river, every sown field along the Nile will become parched, will blow away and be no more. You see that? So every sown field, all the plants, the greenery is going to be gone because the Most High is going to dry up the river. So essentially, what that means is, on one fold, on the surface level, the Most High causing a drought in the land, as He's going to cause a drought in America, a drought, famine. It's already a drought in Cali and Nevada, Arizona, and these other states. It's like that. It's already a drought. You know, Cali talking about we found a way to kind of reuse the plumber. It's like the toilet water, basically. So basically, California and other states, well, they've been doing this, but some reason when they just want to re-announce it and say, hey, we got a new improved way. But essentially, especially in Cali now, because of the drought, you have to reuse that same water. So you're drinking water that was used by somebody else, and they kind of, use the bathroom. So that's the use the bathroom. It goes through the cleaner, and that piss essentially, right? That piss is cleaned, and then now that's what you drink it, right? It's madness, man. It's literally madness. So they're trying to find every way to essentially, beat this drought that the Most High is causing, right? And we know the Most High, He's going to cause a drought on the surface level, but He's also going to cause what? A drought on the spiritual level too, right? So two different types of droughts: a drought of the word of the Lord, a drought on a physical level, and a drought of their water, right? Because again, America has their own water. If you got ears to hear, you got the water of the Lord, which is that pure water, knowledge, wisdom, understanding coming down from the heavens. Revelation 22:1. Then you got the water on the left hand side too. Just like hey, you have the wine on the right hand side, the wine of the Lord that Yahweh Shah gives you, which is His blood. If you got ears to hear, which is His body, which is essentially going into the Word, but then you have the wine on the left hand side. It's going to make you drunk. It's going to make you drunk, and Esau is going to take advantage of you with you being drunk. So he's going to strip you of your garments, and he's going to make you put his garments on you, which is his philosophy and doctrine. You see that? So same way, you got different levels of this thing.
Mhm.
But essentially, you had a point of precept, King.
King.
All right, Khan. So let's go through the spirit, right? So again, let's go real quick first to Acts, though. Let's go to Acts, because this is in Acts as well. I was reading this other day. It says when He caused. Let's see here. Where's this at though? I was just reading it though. Yeah, Khan. So right here, Acts 11 and 27, right?
This is Acts 11 and verse 27, and it reads, and in these days came prophets from Jerusalem unto Antioch, and there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar.
Khan. You see that? So dearth is essentially going into a famine, right? It says dearth, a scarcity or a lack of something, right? A lack of scarcity, a scarceness, shortage, a deficiency. So if you don't have enough water to maintain the population, that's a dearth, right? That's a dearth of water. You know, if you don't have enough food being produced, then that's a dearth of what? Food, you know? So there was a dearth in the days of Claudius Caesar, according to the book of Acts 11 chapter. So that's going to come to pass back in this time too. Just like how you have the apostles and disciples now, you're going to have the same things happening. You know, the Most High is going to cause a dearth here. Most High is going to cause a shortage here, right? So the Most High essentially, because again, what does water give a nation? Life. You know, you can't have a nation without water. So that water is going into actual water, right? It's going into things that give a nation prosperity. So it can go into what? All different types of things. But the Most High said, whatever this water is that gives life to the nation, the Most High said he's going to dry that up. He's going to cause a shortage of it. So if he does that, that means that means what? Civil unrest. That means, again, going back to 2nd Ezra 15 chapter, 2nd Ezra 16 chapter, people destroying one another for lack of food, water, necessities, right? Because again, Moses said that he's going to dry up the rivers, the paper reeds by the rooks, the plants, the greenery is going to go away. So what does that cause? It causes civil unrest amongst people, which is coming to America, right? So these verses are very deep. You can break it down a lot of different ways, right? So Khan,
I got two precepts, gang.
all right, Khan, you got it.
Like the brother was saying, hey, water is essential, man. People need water, man. Right? This is it's Iraq chapter 29, verse 21. It says, the chief thing for life is water. Right? The brother literally knows that water is essential for everything, the balance of life, man. The balance of your body, the way you break things down. Brother's bodies and systems, our bodies are made up mostly of water too, water.
Yeah.
And then if they feeding us, not feeding us, if they, we drinking this water that's really defiled, urine, all of it, urine, what they call fecal, whatever they call it, a poop, man, and they act like that stuff, man. That thing lingers, man. A water treatment is not gonna be sufficient for that, man. It's gonna linger some of that bacteria, a lot of the minerals. So a lot of times, you accumulate so much of that that nasty water, it's gonna defile you, man. Just like we just read in Sirach 10. Hey, yo, unwise king, man. These unwise things that you're doing, man. It's hurting the people. Not knowing, the people, you should want the people behind you in all things, but we know the things that you're doing behind closed doors, and you say it, you put it on Front Street, so you don't. So when things happen, or when nobody you can't say that you didn't tell us, and that's how they move in this society, man. They make sure they tell you, so they, it don't be unconscious on their brain. It's like, oh, I told you, right? But this is what the brother was going to. Hey, this is a 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 22, right? It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty, man. Like the brother's going to a famine of different type of things, right? Everything of fruits. You got fake fruits, and you got fake meat, you got fake everything now. Like me and the brothers were talking about this maybe months ago. Like we already in a famine. I mean, we already in. You may not think it, or know it on a level because you still go to a store and eat it. You still see meat on the display, but bro, that could be fake meat.
Yeah.
Literally fake meat. We eating fake meat. So you may not think it's a famine already, but the famine has already begun. If they got fake meat, fake fruits, and different modified genetic things Why? What makes you think the reason they doing that? Right? Just like the brother said, they already treating water that people been using. So if they, they trying to cut corners at every cost they get, right? That's showing that we already literally in a famine already. It's just not on a larger scale to where now it's like, okay, things are not being displayed, right? It says, right, for the full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which every man hear it. They shall be suddenly afraid. That's the point. At that time, shall friends fight one against another like enemies, like the brother was going to, man. Hey, people gonna start turning
Mhm.
against each other, and the earth shall stand in fear, and with those that dwell therein, the springs of fountains shall stand still. Hey, like the brother's going to, hey, the water, hey, it's gonna stand still, man. It's not gonna be no more water getting dispersed. It's not gonna be no more water treatments, even on the spiritual
Yep.
level. On the spiritual level that the brother's going to,
Mhm.
the spirit of the Lord is not going to be out no more. Even their wicked society, their level of their water is not going to be not able to dictate the world no more, because everybody's going to be fending for themselves. The things that they have in place, it's not going to be hold as dear as heart like right now. Nobody's not gonna care about being an American no more. Nobody's not gonna care about being any of those type of things no more. They're gonna, I don't give a damn about being that. Land of the what? Land of the free, man. And, and what, man? I'm here to tell you, man, we are a third world country, man. Already. We a nice luxury third world country, if you want to say that, man. We
Mhm.
already literally a third world country already. And people think, oh, because it's the skyscrapers and the nice tall buildings in LA and Chicago and DC and New York and things like that and San Francisco. This is a beautiful city, or this is a beautiful country. No, it's a third world country, man. Literally. Brothers can't even get clean water no more. You basically, you should be on the infomercial talking about 3 cents a day. Help the Americans. That's what it should be rolling around.
Yeah,
Three
for
cents
real
a day, help the Americans get clean water at least, right? So it says the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run, right? But that was the point, though. The water stands still, the famine of all type of things, the food, the sources, the doctrine, everything is going to be at a halt, right? And you're not going to be able to get none of these things, you know, in those days, man. But Con, you got it, King.
No, that's right though. That's right. Yep, and that's real. Hey, I believe there's only a few states. There's a certain amount of states where they have good water. Still, it's because rain. It's like it rains there. You know what I'm saying? They got good systems, but that's not most states in America,
Mm-hmm.
right? Hey, look, the states that have good water, for example, is like Alaska. Now, who the heck? Nobody lives there.
Yeah,
Of
last.
course, you won't have good. You can literally just walk outside, and just start drinking the water.
Right,
Nobody lives there, right?
right,
Very, very, very small population. It's cold as hell. Hey, this and the third, like, like nobody lives there. So
right.
I mean, that's obvious. But places where there's over millions and millions of people in the metropolitan area, I mean, place like Cali, for example, yes, it's hard to find, good water. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard to find good water. And, certain places in Cali, you can't even drink from the tap, you know, from the faucet. You can't. Uh, hey, look, years ago, you maybe, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day of my dad was growing up, for example, like in the 70s, it's still good. But now, no, you better not do that.
Right.
Better not do that. You're gonna
Right.
end up sick, man. Keep
Sick.
doing that.
That's
All right.
for real.
So that we got to the point where you can't even drink from the tap anymore. That's something that's so whenever I go to places where, for example, like Japan, you can drink from the tap all you want. I was like, I don't trust that. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. But they actually have one of the best water treatments and water quality. When it in terms of water quality, Japan is up there in the world. You know, in America's not up there though, right? America's not up there. So as the brother said, but as we see, it's showing trying to show that America's on its way out. Can't even get good water for its own citizens. Had to use the water that we've been using 10 times with some other people, right? That they urinated out, and then now we're drinking that. You know, that's I'll be surprised like how are people still like alive sometimes eating fake food, right? GMO food, whatever the case may be, chicken on steroids, the water that we're bathing ourselves with, showering ourselves with, everything, it's contaminated. It's like, how are we still alive? It's only by the grace of the Most High. Only by the grace of the Most High. But
Uh,
God, so let's go to,
it's
to
bad.
just bad, man. It's
Bad.
crazy. But yeah, I want to go to Genesis chapter 41 real quick as well. Right. Let's go to Genesis chapter 41, Salaki, and verse number 1, because again, it's going into Egypt, right? So this first Egypt that we encounter in the book of Genesis, or it's like I shouldn't say the first Egypt, but this is the more ancient Egypt, right? During the time of Joseph and his other brothers, Pecan.
This is Genesis chapter 41 and verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kin, or kind of fat flesh, and they fled and they fed and they meddled. And behold, 7 other kind came up after them out of the river, ill favor and lean flesh, and stood by the other kind upon the brink of the river. And the ill favor and lean flesh kind did eat of the 7 well favored and fat kind. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk and rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears in the blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank of the full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh.
God, that's right. So these two dreams that Pharaoh dreamed, all right. If anybody's read Genesis, then you would know what the interpretation is. We're going to go down for the sake of edification, right? And
Verse 14. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph and brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say,
it's like, yeah, Khan. We could just skip down to verse 25 for the sake of time.
Verse 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. Yahweh have showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kind are 7 years, and 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years, and 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine.
Khan, that's right. So this is maybe like a certain interpretation of what he might have saw, but these kind, or these kin, however someone might say it, it's like cows, or of that breed, bulls. These look like bulls, but essentially this is what Pharaoh saw. All right. So these 7, as the brother brought out, right? So lucky. These 7, the good kind are 7 years. The good ears of corn are the 7 years. So the ill-favored kind are what? 7 years of famine. You see that? And the 7 blasted ears of corn with the blasted east with the east wind are 7 years of famine. You see that? So essentially, we know that 7 is number completion. So on another fold, right, when we read about the rivers being dried up and the green being taken away, right, the Most High is not going to cause it to, it's like he's going to dry up the life of Egypt. Because again, that water is not only going into just water, right? It's going into whatever sustains this nation, right? Whatever is making this nation prosperous, right? Because that key element is water. So the Most High is taking that as a symbol to say, all right, whatever is making Egypt prosperous, he's going to take that away. He's going to take it away. So whatever makes America prosperous, all right? You got the internet, social media, the Most High is going to take that away. The food and the water is going to take that away. Whatever. So like, what else? The government, whatever. As a brother said, being a patriot or the patriotic mindset, he's going to take that away. Whatever makes Egypt flow and makes it green, if you got ears to hear, makes it to grow abundantly, allows people to build and stuff like that. Most High is going to take that away, man. All right. But on another fold, there's going to be 7 years of famine upon this modern day Egypt. Because that number 7 is going to be a number in completion. And as a brother said, we're already leading into a famine. You got inflation on the rise, fake food on the rise everywhere. I mean, everything, man. So we're already leading into that famine. Already leading into that famine through the Spirit. All right. But let's go down to verse number we keep going in that verse 28.
John verse 28, and it continues on. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showed unto Pharaoh. Behold, there came 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine follow, for it shall be very grievous.
Hey, it shall be very grievous, man. Joseph is giving a prophecy to Pharaoh. This famine is going to be very grievous, man. All right. And so I know brothers like to say too, look, we're not living during the time of this ancient Egypt, right? So don't look for the next Joseph. Where's the next Joseph that's going to save America? It's going to save America from the famine. It's going to save America from civil war and civil unrest and China and Russia. Where is our modern day? He's not going to come.
Uh-huh.
There is no modern day Joseph. Right? There is no modern day Joseph, man. This time when the Most High destroys Egypt, it's going to be destroyed forever. There's no more saving it. And more on the drought and the famine, you have an account with First Kings, the 17th chapter, that we encourage you to read as well. Going into Elijah and the Most High giving that prophecy out that he's not going to make it rain for 3 years. So if the Most High doesn't make it rain upon a certain land for 3 years, that's going to cause a famine. And we know that a famine and a drought, right? Because droughts and famines go hand in hand. If you have abundance of water, but you're trying to get food, I mean, if you have water, you would have type of food. You would have some type of food to eat if you had water at least. But the absence of water takes away all food, right? Because where there's water, there's life. So if you had, you still had a lot of water, you could grow stuff. Things essentially grow by the water and come to the water that you could catch. Things live in the water that you could eat. Fish, for example, right? So if you had water, you would still have some way of living. But if you don't have any water at all, then you don't have any food, at all either, right? Unless you try to eat a cactus or something. But well, cactus still have a little water in them, so you know, just not a lot. So let's go to real quick. Why is it somebody in the comments saying I am God? Right. That's madness. Anyways, right, let's go to Isaiah. Right. Go back to that in Isaiah chapter 19. Right. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse number oh yeah, we read seven. Let's go to verse 8.
Verse 8. Isaiah 19 and 8. The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast a gangle into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters are languish. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded. They shall.
That's right. Oh, so like I just want to touch on that real quick. So in verse 8 it says the fishers also shall mourn, right? So this prophecy is very how can I put this? It kind of reminds you, it should remind you of another prophecy that we read about. So let's go to Revelation, the 18th chapter, right? And that's how you know it's talking about the same nation, because you have that same prophecy going into Babylon the Great. Let's go to Revelation chapter 18 and verse number, let's skip down to the point. Let's see here. Verse number 14, right?
This is Revelation 18 and 14, and it reads, and the fruits that thou lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which are dainty and godly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which are made rich by her, shall stand afar off, for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of the burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city?
You see that? So you have that same thing. It says the merchants of these things which are made rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. You see that? So the merchants, there's going to be certain people standing afar off, seeing literally the destruction of America before their eyes. They're going to be like, damn, look at the Statue of Liberty. Cast it down. Look at great New York City. Cast it down in flames. All the precious stones and the pearls and the Fendi, the Gucci, and the you know what I'm saying? All the glamour of America. The Jordans. No, not the Jordans, man. The Jordan 12s, right? All the Jordan 12s and the iPhones and the the Teslas. Nah, not the Teslas, man. Right? And verse 17 says, hey, every shipmaster. Because when you look at it, there's a lot of ships going to and fro in the Pacific Ocean and in the Atlantic Ocean, right? Going to and fro from America to America. So again, America is a very, very, very the reason why America is so prosperous as well is because it has control over, I shouldn't say control, but it does have dominion of two seas, the Atlantic and the Pacific. So on the west and on the east coast. What other nation has it like that? China only has the Pacific. European nations, they really only have the Atlantic and other seas, right? Like the Black Sea, whatever, the Mediterranean Sea. But America has dominion over both seas. That's why they're so prosperous as well, because they can do trade with Asia and other nations on the West Coast, and they do trade with other nations on the East Coast. There's constant cargo ships going in and out of America. So these ships are not just going to stop automatically. So when all that destruction is coming to America, they're going to see that destruction. Imagine being in a ship and you're headed from, let's say, Britain, the UK, to New York City. And so you're going, and then as you're pulling up to New York City, you see a great smoke come up. You're like, dang, you're seeing America being destroyed before your eyes, man. This is literally what's going to happen. So essentially, this is the same thing with Isaiah the 19th chapter. The same thing with Isaiah the 19th chapter. Right, Salakia. Verse 8, it says, the fishers also shall mourn, and all that cast angle in the brooks into the brook shall lament. Because again, being a fisher in the ancient world was a very, very popular occupation. We know that Andrew, his brother, right, Peter, right, John and James, the sons of Zebedee, were all fishers. You know, Yahweh Shah said, come, I'm gonna make you fishers of men. So fisher was a very, very popular occupation in the ancient world. It was a good way to, you know, make money because a lot of people eat fish, right? And still do eat fish today. But nevertheless, it's the same thing. It's talking about the same thing, right? You got a point in precept, King?
King, you got it.
Con. So yeah, all that spread nets upon the water shall languish. So again, going into also, and as we kind of went into the last video as well, work or occupations being done away with in America as well. Because again, as we mentioned in the last video, America is run off of the labor that people do. All right. The reason why the economy is the way it is, or the reason why America's economy was good, or whatever the case may be, is because of the laborers, the workers, people that are putting in the 12-hour shifts and the 8-hour shifts and everything else is the backbone of America. You know, minus the slavery, of course, the head start. So America got a head start because of slavery. But the modern day slavery is going to work for Esau every day. And so by us going to work, which we had to go to work, right? But by us going to work every day, we actually are furthering this man's kingdom. You know, we're playing a part, playing a certain percentage and role of this man's kingdom being prosperous. Not that we're doing it intentionally. It's the only way we can make money. But you know, it is a part in this man's kingdom, man. So he got it set up like that. Right? But the most I say he's going to put that away. Right? Let's go to verse 9.
Verse 9. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded. And they shall be broken in purpose thereof, all that make sluices and ponds for fish.
Con, right? So it says, work in fine flax, all that weave network shall be confounded. And it says, they shall be broken in the purposes thereof. Now, I do actually want to go into the different translation for this. So when you go into verse, Salaki, the NIV, it says, the workers in cloth will be dejected, and all the wage earners will be sick at heart. ESV says, those who are the pillars of the land will be crushed, and all who work for pay will be grieved. So there's a division between the translations. Some say it's talking about workers in cloth, and some say it's talking about pillars of despair, whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, second half of the verse, a lot of people agree that it's talking about those that work for pay. Those that work for pay will be grieved. All the wage earners will be sick at heart, right? So if you make wages, which people that work, you're going to be sick at heart. You're going to be what? Not having any work. So if there's no work, then there's sedition, civil unrest, right? Can't get any money, can't feed my family. What am I supposed to do? I'm going to go steal. I'm going to go this X, Y, and Z, you know? So, but yeah, gone, right? But you keep going on that to the spirit.
Continue on, verse 11. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of the ancient kings. Where
Gone.
are
It's like I just want to touch on Zoan, right? Zoan, where is that at, right? So when you look up Zoan, gotta look up Egypt. Don't care about the anime. Right, so I'm gonna pull up the map first, and then I'm gonna go to the Wikipedia. So Zoan, as you can see, right. So you see, because these little things right here is all connected to the river, the Nile River, right? So of course, Zoan would be a city right off of that river connection right there. But let's just read this real quick. It's not much on it. Zoan, right? So was, according to Hebrew Bible, a city of Egypt in the eastern Nile Delta. Book of Numbers 13:22 says it was built 7 years after Hebron was built. Psalm 72 verses 12 and 45 identifies the field of Zoan as a location where Moses performed miracles before a biblical pharaoh to persuade him to release the Israelites from service. The city is also mentioned in the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter, 11 verse 13, Isaiah 30 and 4, in the book of Ezekiel 30 and verse 14. And then it goes to mention the Greek Septuagint, right? It says the Egyptian name for Tanis, right? So yeah, but Zoan, as we go into and we keep reading this, is going to mention other cities as well of Egypt. But this is just going into when you want to break it down on the spiritual level, and we're using this as a way to look at America. It's like saying DC. It's like saying what New York City. It's like saying popular cities of Egypt, or it's like a popular cities of America, right? It's like saying that, a diplomatic, especially diplomatic cities. Like that's why I said DC, Washington DC. That's where the president, that's where he abides in Congress, House of Representatives, et cetera, et cetera. And these are the council, the wise counselors, right? These are the wise counselors, the people that sit up in the government. They're making the decisions, and we're saying we should do this and that and the third. Moses said the wise counselors of Pharaoh has become brutish, right? As we look at the Biden administration, they don't know how to run the country, right? They become brutish, man. I'm not saying that we care. I don't care. But I'm just saying, like, look, just looking from Esau's perspective, a lot of Edomites saying, yeah, Biden doesn't know what he's doing, And who's doing that? The Mosai's doing that, right? Verse 12.
Verse 12. Where are they? Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of the hosts have a purpose upon Egypt. The principles. So you going?
Well, yeah, I just had one precept on that, honestly, right? Or like kind of like two quick ones, right? First one obviously will be Obadiah, the first chapter, in verse 8, right? Let's kind of get that real quick, right?
This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 8. Shall I not that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
So it says, shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, man? That's what the Mosai is doing right now. All right, he's destroying the wise men out of Edom. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 47 and verse number, let's see here, right? Verse number 10.
That's Isaiah chapter 47, verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me.
Yep.
Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know, from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thy enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorcerers, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail, thou art
Oh yeah, kind of slow. So like I just want to make a point. It says,
uh,
"Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail." And the Most High, He has a sense of humor, man. Right? Saying, like, look, go to your wise men, consult with them, use your witchcraft and your wizardry. Go to the witches and chant up the spirits, and what I'm saying, ask your wise men, right? Go to the governor of so and so and the you know to ask them what should you do, right? Go to your cabin. The president has a cabin, so it's people that tell him what he should do, right? Like he has literally hit the president has counselors, right? It's like, all right, what should we do? Should we do this? Should we do that? And on a higher level, America does actually have, modern day wizards and things of that nature. Tapping into the left hand side, got the crystal ball and stuff. They actually do have that. They have that in the ancient world. They have that now too. You know, but nevertheless, hey, the Lord's like, yeah, yeah. Maybe maybe you could win World War III. Maybe just maybe, right? Maybe you could avoid being destroyed by Yahweh Shah. Maybe, hey, a small chance. Go ahead, do everything you can. The Most High has a sense of humor, man. All right, all right. Let's just read verse 13. That's it. The spirit.
I got a precept.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm gonna go after this precept.
Okay, come on.
This is verse 47. Isaiah 47:13. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things, that they shall come upon thee. Behold.
Right. Yeah, that's it on that. And then it just goes into the thermonuclear fire and ICBM missiles, right? But it says the monthly prognosticators. The prognosticators going into well, it's not going to say it here though, actually. But when you look it up, the monthly prognosticators is going into something called the Alamacs, or the makers of the Alamac, which when you look this up, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Salakia, Almanac, right? So essentially, it's going into what? When you look at this, because that's how Esau is able to tap in to next week and tell you how the weather's going to be. It's like, how do you know that 10 days from now, sun's going to be out? How do you know that? Like, literally, how do you know that? Right? And hey, sometimes, 30% of the times, Esau is right. Sometimes he'll be wrong, but sometimes he'll be right. Right? There's times of which Esau, he could tap into everything that we're using. It's witchcraft, man. It's Esau. How does Esau know how to do certain things? That's the thing. He's not the smartest guy on the planet. It's because he's tapping into the left-hand side and he's consulting with Satan and taking the knowledge that Satan's given him, and he's using that, right, to do all these things. So it says, I'm gonna just read this. It says, an almanac is a regularly published listing of a set of current information about one or multiple subjects. It includes information like weather forecasts, farmers' planting dates, tide tables, and other tabular data, often arranged according to the calendar, right? So it says a book containing a calendar of days, weeks, and months, and usually facts about the rising and setting of the sun and moon, changes in the tides, and information of general interest. Somebody even said that this verse is also talking about when it says the monthly prognosticators, going into when, you had the wizards and the warlocks and et cetera, people that would deal with enchantments and magic. They would consult with these familiar spirits and see what days were best to go to war, right? Say, should we go to war? Let's wait until the full moon. You had that back then. We're going to wait until the blood moon, which is in a week from now, right? Then we shall be prosperous, for our gods will be with us that day. So Esau, he does that the same way. He waits until certain days because the wizards tell him to wait, right? Do it on this day, right? Do it on this day. No, we're gonna wait a month, right? Or you should do this now. Do this now, right? Yeah, I mean Esau, he does the same thing. It's like you got your preset king.
Yeah, and the almanac, it remind me of what's that movie? Back to the Future, I believe part 2, if I'm not mistaken. Or part 2. And the dude was using, had all the sports bets and stuff that was there for like 50 years or whatever, and the dude was using it to make bets in the old times, man. And it was literally messed up the future, man. I mean, or the past or the future. Yeah, the past, I believe. Yeah, it was the past. But yeah, the almanac had, like the brother was going to, it had all the information of all the things that was going on. It just reminded me of a Back to the Future in this sense, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is going on when you're talking about the sorcerers, right? This is Daniel chapter 2, and this 26. It says, the king answered and said unto Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, art thou able to make known unto the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king had demanded, cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, and soothsayers shew unto the king? Like the Lord, like you were saying earlier, the Most High. Well, Daniel at this point, they clowning him. Like, what's up with your sorcerers, man? Your soothsayers, they can't tell you what's going on in these dreams. They can't tell you what's going on, right? It says, but there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and make it known to the king of Nebuchadnezzar. What shall be the latter days, that thy dream and the visions of thy head upon the bed are these? So when you read it, Daniel was able to, through the power of the Most High Yahweh, he was able to interpret the dreams that was going on. But the soothsayers and the astrologers and magicians and the warlocks, they couldn't even do nothing against the Most High, man. Because ultimately, it's all the power of the Most High at the end of the day, right? Giving these enchantments to them and giving them the foreknowledge to even do the things that they're doing. And like the brother was saying earlier, these different devices they have, even like you got devices, devices to see tornadoes and the different signs of, it's gonna be a cloud. They uses these different devices on the left hand side for them to even have that type of knowledge and wisdom understanding on that side. That kind of remind me of what's his name, Cain, to the sense, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Cain, bring that out real quick. It's Genesis chapter 4, right? In verse, let me get to the point. In verse 14, right? It says, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from the face shall be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on the sevenfold. Let me jump down to 16. It says, and Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod of the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife and conceived and bare Enoch and he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. Right? How Cain was able to have that power, man, to know how to build cities, man, build a whole city, right?
Yep.
Even when you go on, even his son, they was a damn near artificers and all type of things, man. Able to craft certain things and be able to make things out of nothing through the spirit, right? And that's how they was moving. But Cain, he was dealing with the spiritual demon Satan, right? And that's how he was able to get that power to understand how to even build these type of cities. Even going to his sons, having been able to learn how to be artificers and be able to make things out of nothing, being damn near blacksmiths in this thing, right? But it's one last precept, right? Going into Elijah, man, get it on these people, right? It's First Kings chapter 18 and verse 21. It says, I'm starting verse 20. So Ahab sent all to the children of Israel and gathered the prophets together unto Mount Carmel. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, How long y'all halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then he said, Elijah unto the people, even I only, remain a prophet of the Lord. But Baal prophets are 450 men. So Baal, on that side, man, he got 450 prophets on that side, man. Elijah said, I'm a prophet of the Lord, right? He says, verse 23, let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it into pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And I would dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And call ye on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God that answereth by fire, let him be God. And all the people answered and said, It is well spoken. And Elijah said unto the prophets of Baal, Choose you 1 bullock for yourselves, and dress it first, for ye are many, and call on the name of your gods, but put no fire under. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called upon the name of Baal from the morning even unto noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered. They leaped upon the altar which was made. So they God couldn't do nothing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, God was they did that from what, morning to noon. Literally, damn near a full day in this thing. Literally couldn't even God never even answered. But when you keep reading the Most High Yahweh, he answered through the Spirit, man. Just to show them, they on the left side, they got many warlocks on that side working constantly and thinking they could supersede a one man of the Lord, man. But all it takes is one man of the Lord that really know, that had the faith in the Most High, and that could overtake the wicked through the Spirit. But Khan, you got it, King.
Khan, that's right, man. That's right. Yep, all through the Spirit. Yeah, Khan. So, yeah, at this time we're gonna start winding down through the Spirit. As we hit our mark, 90 minutes, right? Almost 90 minutes. So, but yeah, we got to verse. Where did we get to?
Verse 14. No, 14, I believe. No, yeah, 14, 13, 13.
Actually, we didn't even get to 13. Well, yeah, we got to verse 12. So next time we're going to go into verse 13. We're going to see how long we can get, or how far we can get on the third part. We're going to try to end it off in the third part, but if not, you know what I'm saying, it's all the will of the Most High. But yeah, again, the reason why we're going through Isaiah 19 is because a lot of these prophecies are either happening right now, or they're about to happen in the near future. So again, just looking at all the things that's happening in this world right now, as we're trying to keep watch, in America, civil unrest, civil war, the nation being divided. We have war on the Eastern Front. Israel talking about, we're going to defend ourselves, and other kings of the East talking about, well, if you do that, I'm gonna do this, right? So just a lot of stuff, man, a lot of stuff. Rumors of wars, as Yahweh Shah talked about. So, but as we see that, want to try to touch on prophecy, all right? But so that we're gonna close out. Yeah, you close the priest king to the spirit.
This is Sirach chapter 24 and verse 24. It reads, "Faith not to be stronger than the Lord, that he may confirm you. Cleave unto the Lord, for the Lord Almighty is God alone, and besides him there is no other Savior." Man. Like the brother son, we go into the different prophecies, and as prophecies unfold, and you gotta be more cleaving more unto the Most High Yahweh, man, because He's the only one that's gonna be able to save you out of all the things that's coming into play. Nothing else is going to save you. Hey, it's not going to save you. It's going to be in distress. And your mama can't save you. It's going to be, and she going to be trying to search out things for herself. Your parents, nobody can save you but the Most High. So as long as you're cleaving unto the Most High, hey, that's how you should. That's the thing. That's the way you should be moving, especially in these last days. And as the brother saying, as prophecies unfold and prophecies unveil itself, and you want to be not be faint-hearted unto the Lord, man, but cleaving unto Him. But Khan, you got a king.
That's right. That's right. It's a good precept. I'm gonna get a Song of Solomon 1:4. It says, "Draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee." See that? So essentially, essentially we want to go be in these chambers. Which chamber do you want to be in? The chambers are the different books of the Bible. So, the chamber, you have the chamber, of Isaiah. And you also have what? The chambers of prophecy. So you want to kind of be in these chambers of prophecy, these rooms of prophecy, like Isaiah, Jeremiah, Second Esdras. I've been reading through the spirit Acts. So in Acts, you do have prophecy there. Acts, we're living during the time of if you have ears to hear, the second Acts, the second part of Acts, I should say, on the spiritual level. Because if you have the apostles back then doing the work, you got them doing the work right now too. So a lot of the stuff that's going to that's happening in Acts is either happen now or it's going to happen in the near future, right? Because the Lord says He requires that which is past. So we see that coming to play. All right. Soon is going to be what? The fifth seal opening up, which is Jacob's trouble, which is persecution of the saints. Revelation 12 and verse 17, man. And they're already trying to, again, persecute us in different type of ways and try to demonize us.
Demonize.
Yeah, demonize us, on the social medias and the grand scheme of things. So lucky, right? But with that, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. You had anything else on that, King?
Can't lie, you said it perfectly, King.
All praises, all praises. So the water for tuning in, all that's been tuning in through the spirit, that will tune in, most are willing, right? This brother Yasha Allah.
Brother said right.
Come back to y'all yet another video. Again, Shabbat Shalom to all. I was on the chat, right? Shabbat Shalom, right? Oh yeah, nah, there was just scoffer, right? He said, "Get at me, bro." Right? You don't even have an icon on your thing, man. Right? Why should we entertain that? You don't even have an icon in your thing, right? Or a profile, anything. It just says C.
Cleveland.
Clevin Nevels.
Clevin Nevels.
Right? And I believe Brother Uzziah kind of had booted him out of here, so all praises. Right? But nevertheless, hey man, in the midst of scoffers or whatever the case may be, we're still going to try to bring out this truth to the four corners, man. So with that, call me Asha Allah. Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.